Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is undefeated flyweight prospect Rory Turner. Hello, Rory. How are you?
Hello, I'm very good, my friend. How about you?
I'm good. And about 2 months ago, you won your second fight in one. It was the decision. It was a split decision fight. And if you can tell me, after a few weeks, how would you rate your performance in that fight?
My performance, I'm upset that I didn't get the finish. I don't know about a rating. The fight went according to plan, weather the storm, try to take minimal damage, and get the fight to the ground where we believe he would have been weakest. Split decision, I don't know about that. You watch the fight, I wasn't stressed. Even though one judge, I believe, got it wrong, I was very confident that I was going to get the win anyway.
Yes, split decision. It's kind of controversial, but probably in some ways it can be stressful situation because even you know that you won 2 rounds. It's you don't know because if one of the judges made a mistake, that there can be the second one.
Yes, I was a heavy underdog going into the fight, and my opponent brought all of the Vietnamese fan base with him. So I wasn't surprised by one judge trying to sway towards him. But as I said, I've been more stressed watching my favorite fighters go to split decisions than this one because I knew I'd done enough.
And in your previous fight, you won by TKO. It was like the 15 seconds or even less to the final. But so it's kind of also a kind of rare situation. But I think that it always it shows how dangerous you are even few seconds to the final bell.
Indeed, that was a fight where I really want to show the improvements in my cardio, been training to, because my first professional fight I took on 5 days' notice, no time to really prepare. This one was the first time I was in a full camp. So this fight, yes, I always want the finish, but this one, yeah, it was a little bit extra sweet that I got to get it very late in round three.
And do you know when will you fight next?
Yes, I'm just under 4 weeks out from my next fight. July 24, back in one Lumpini, I'll be fighting.
And can you share who your opponent will be?
Yes, quite an interesting one. After one pullout, I was given a French fighter called Anouat Merlet. I've heard that it is his MMA debut on one, but he is 4-0 in Muay Thai with 3 KO.
So it's probably kind of like you said, interesting challenge because he can be dangerous in the stand-up department.
Well, I'm not sure if he belongs in there to me with me, to be honest, but I've never said no to a fight, and I've fought I think a opponent with an objectively better record the last fight, but I think it would be selfish of me not to give this young up and comer a chance.
And overall, how do you like when you are in the ring? Because it's like most promotions, of course, the MMA fights are in the cage, and in one you can do something different. So fight in the ring.
It's a little bit different to the cage, but I think I've adjusted. The gym I train at, thankfully, has a ring, so I've been exclusively sparring in there to get used to what it'll be like in one championship. The only major difference that I found is that it's a little bit more difficult to pick someone up because I don't have the a solid wall as leverage when I want to slam somebody. So yeah, luckily for my next opponent, I will learn from the last one and not try and pick him up as often.
And ring has some kind of pride vibe, so it's like old school.
I'm too young to know about that. I'm only 22. Didn't grow up around Pride.
And if you can tell me, because usually fighters from Australia, there are a few good regional promotions like Eternal, and it's like kind of route to get to the UFC or to the just international stage, and you are fighting in one. So if you can tell me what happened that you took this kind of route.
Just, I think this competition MMA is all about opportunities. As I said, my professional debut was just 5 days' notice, accepted. And after that, I got another huge opportunity. It just so happened that one championship was looking to match up a particular opponent with me. And yeah, of course, I accepted. It was a huge opportunity. I understood that there's no easy fights, and maybe most fighters, as you said, would climb the ranks, but I believe I'm already the best in the world. So as soon as I got the opportunity, I said, let's do it. Win or lose, I'm daring to be great. So why not?
And would you be interested also in take some like Muay Thai fight in one?
No, I'm good. I've always been an MMA fighter, and that's where I'm going to stay.
And overall, how your journey with combat sports started?
I started off with me watching the UFC, a little bit of one championship, not much, and there happened to be an MMA gym that opened very close to where I live, which is where I met my coach to this day, Renato Subotic. Not really knowing what I wanted to do with it, just enjoyed the environment, training. I didn't really fit in many places else. I was a teenager at the time, doing school. Um, was a little bit different to everyone else, so my circle wasn't huge. But in MMA, I just found a lot of people that I felt I belonged with, shared obviously a same main interests, and from there, yeah, eventually I would take my first amateur fight, go 5-0 before my first loss, and 1 year after that, as I said, I took a very late notice opportunity to go professional. 3 fights later, here we are.
And you mentioned like watching the UFC, and do you remember and like fighters, maybe even from the first fight that you ever watched?
Um, I don't know the first fight I watched, but the first fighter to get on my radar was Robert Whittaker in 2017 when he won the title. And then a friend of mine in my school asked me if I knew Conor McGregor. I actually, to everyone's surprise, I did not know who that was. And they said he's like you. You fight like him. When I've watched you, he's very cocky as well, just like you. I said I better check him out. Stalked him on YouTube, watched notably his fights with Eddie Alvarez and Max Holloway is probably my favorite bout of his to this day. Then the fight that really got me in the door of doing MMA was McGregor versus Habib. I went and watched it while practicing karate and judo at the time. So it was a perfect scenario where I watch it, go striker versus grappler. Which one do I focus on is whoever wins when I join an MMA gym.
And right now you will have this kind of like second chapter, McGregor against Holloway.
Yeah, I focus on myself now. I've had my idols. There are many people I look up to, but now, you know, the people I aspire to be, I already think I'm on my way. So now the focus is me. I'm here to take anybody out who's in front of me, and I think I've done a pretty good job so far.
And if you can tell me a little bit more about your gym and maybe prospects like you that you have there, and you think that they can be like really successful in next few years.
Yes, so very recently, my coach Renato Subotic has developed his first fighter to earn a UFC contract, which is I'll butcher her name, but I think Nina Milosevic. She's fighting UFC Belgrade August 1st, so her along with many of the teammates are in Serbia preparing. She's definitely one to look out for. Last year, she had 6 fights in the span of 6 months to earn this contract. So if anyone deserves it, it is her. Otherwise, yeah, I'm going to shout out the people in my division. One of my good friends, Percival or Percy No Mercy Mwambi, Kenyan fighter who's climbed the ranks in Eternal, currently 5-1. I think he's very close to getting up there, and four of his wins by finish. And lastly, I'll shout out Cooper Rush Royale, a fighter who has already been to one championship before me. Currently, I believe his record is 8 wins, 2 losses, coming off a second round TKO in Hex.
Yes, and both these fighters are really, really big prospects, and probably just in few years that they can be on this kind of like probably like UFC levels. So like being in the UFC, I think.
Yes, I believe so. Having sparred both of them quite regularly, I must say I am glad I haven't had to face them in a real fight.
And sometimes it's good that you have this kind of chance that you can train with this kind of fighters, because sometimes the fight itself it can be a little bit like easier if you are talking about like level, because of course like there will be audience people, additional stress, so it's something different. But like level wise, sometimes this kind of tough training session are super important.
Of course, I believe if you are the most skilled person in the room, you don't have any more room to grow. I'm grateful to be around the people I'm around. And, as you said, translating to the fight, every time I'm against a KO artist, my coach Renato Subotic asked me in between the first and second round, does he hit as hard as those guys? And I've never had to answer yes.
And right now, of course, you are in one, but if you can share or how many fights do you have on your contract, or when how your journey with one do you think will go?
I'm not sure. As I mentioned, I started off fighting just to check it out as a hobby. I going professional was not something I would have expected to happen so quickly. So I'm really just taking every fight as it goes. I've never said no to any matchup. I don't mind where I go. I am grateful for the life that I live. Uh, whether I stay in one, go back to the regional promotions, end up somewhere else, it doesn't matter to me. I go one fight at a time. I don't plan on ever losing them. And if one offers me a better contract, amazing. If not, I'm happy to go fight somewhere else. I've already built a legacy that I can tell to the next generation to inspire them. So I've done a decent job from how I feel, but I'm always ready to do more.
And outside of fighting, when you have a little bit more free time, so after your fight, or even just after your training sessions, do you have something as something else from fighting? So maybe some additional hobby that you like to spend your time on?
Um, Nothing I'm that committed to. Fighting is obviously my main. I have a couple other hobbies, but yeah, definitely don't go out of my way to be there all the time. But my main two, after every fight, I love to celebrate in a karaoke room. And from a young age, I've also been into tennis as well. But neither, of course, I have a big focus on. Just from time to time, yeah, I'll visit the K bar or play some tennis with a couple friends. But otherwise, yeah, after getting beat up almost every day of the week, maybe my main hobby is just going back to bed.
And usually after your fight, how quickly do you come to the gym to train?
I will take at least 1 week off. Um, because right after that, my team, MMAFFT, we are always very active. So I try to take just enough time to heal myself, but then all the work that my teammates do to help me get prepared, I owe it back. So when the body's healed, usually about a week or two, then I'm straight back into it, helping all of my teammates prepare for their fights as they did for me.
And probably this like few days are also good for your head because in the training camp you are like so focused to be better in everything. So probably it's good just to not think for a little bit about MMA.
Yeah, I'm always thinking about it regardless, but yes, the body, it's more the body. Every fight we take damage, so we do have to take a little bit of time off to heal. Anyone who says, "Oh, I get back to training the day after my fight," they probably won't have long careers.
And when you are thinking about maybe next fight, maybe overall your future, do you have maybe some crazy knockout or crazy submission that you would like to win your fight with?
Um, nah, I would love to knock the next opponent out or submit him. That doesn't matter what by. That said, I like I teach all my homies a Peruvian necktie. They say it's their favorite submission, and might be mine too. If I can get that, that'd be great. But otherwise, I'm in one championship. The main focus is if he's on the ground, we got to use those knees because the next fight I might not be allowed to.
Yes, yes, that's right. A little bit different rule sets, so you need to use it.
Indeed, it feels good.
Okay, Rory, so many thanks for the time and for conversation. Of course, I hope you will win your next fight, maybe with some crazy finish, and you will fight after this also quite soon.
Yes, it will be a finish, no doubt about it.